And Aaron, if I may, I mean, keep in mind, which I don't. These aren't things that ever they come out when they're needed to come out. They're talked about when they needed to be talked about. But we're talking about an individual who I grew up in Sylvester, Georgia, in the early '80s. I remember attending black only parks where there were parks inside of Sylvester, Georgia that blacks couldn't even that we couldn't play in as kids. We couldn't go to. When I moved to Avon Park, Florida, we're talking about the late '80s, mid to late '80s, because I moved to Florida in '88. Late '80s, early '90s, I remember visibly seeing the Ku Klux Klan march down Main Street in Sylvester, Georgia. At my school, like racism was a huge thing. And I'm saying these things just because I'm not one that talks or speaks from the race card. Like I've been a part of race fights where at my high school, blacks, whites, Hispanics, like it that's the type of environment that I've grown up in life that I've seen. But again, when you don't have to constantly replay the worst part of your life in front of you, because then you'll lock yourself into that time period and that time frame, keeping in mind I'm nowhere numb to it. I'm not numb to racism. I'm not numb to that these things do actually exist. However, as I maneuver and as I move through life, I'm also aware that there's a lot of good and a lot of different people, and working with different ethnicities, working with different races, even within my own culture and ethnicity. Like there's a lot to be shared, there's a lot to be disconnected from. And so when I do choose to talk about some of those things, or when I don't lead with certain things, it's not because I'm oblivious, or it's not because I'm not tuned in or tapped in or woke to certain things. No, no, no. I'm very sensitive to what things exist. However, I also know how to extract and pull the good and just promote the positive on the outside of it.